I remember. I remember everything now. You died on that day. You were killed. You disappeared from this world and left me behind.
That's right. I remember. I remember the pain, the agony of death, and the fear. I did indeed die that day.
You refused to listen to me. Do you have any idea how I felt? How it felt? To feel you dying from the other side of that door.
Giselle.
I wanted you to take me with you. Is this what you wanted to see?
My memories. The traces of my life on this earth. And there. In order to find the truth, we need more of the story.
Very well then. If you want more story, I will tell you more. What comes next is both a continuation and a brand new tale. The Maid's Tale. When you've heard it all, I expect you to commend me for not forgetting how to smile.
Fuck. That is how you... That's how you foreshadow a story, my god. We haven't completely cut through the darkness yet. An arctic wind blows past me. At the same time, I'm gripped with an overwhelming urge to break down into tears. Perhaps this is the solitude she felt for so long. I have to face this. I have a responsibility to her to do so. And I have to atone for being such a misguided fool all those many years, convinced that I was doing what was best. Oh, chills. Oh, God. Ooh.
This is my tale. And the Maid's Tale.
Wait. It's showing both Michelle and Giselle's designs. Yeah, who is this?
This is my tale and the Maid's Tale.
I guess this is just quote-unquote past Giselle.
A tale of a foolish, naive girl. Looking back on it now, I'm ashamed of everything.
No, I think this is just the maid, right?
But I will tell you my story in its entirety, without embellishments. I ask that you please not let go of my hand. The only thing the knights left behind were a garment and a large pool of your blood. Blood had seeped into the fabric, and it was beginning to dry. When I clenched it in my hand, it made soft, crackling sounds. The oppressive stench of death lingered in the tower. Michelle, there's no point in life without you. You know that, right? Have a wonderful family? You know I can't do that. Hey, Michelle. Answer me. Come back to me. I don't care if it's as a ghost. I just need you here with me. Come back to me. Talk to me about nothing and about everything. Be irritated with me when I do something stupid. Scoff at me whenever I tell a bad joke. Trounce me at chess again. Put your arms around me. One more time. Come on. I'm begging you. If you won't come back to me, then I'll go with you. I don't care if that's not what you wanted for me. This world without you is meaningless.
Dying won't guarantee you get to see him again. Oh, have we heard this song yet? I think we have. Maybe not, I don't remember. He spends all this time refusing to talk to me, and when he finally does, he begs me to save his love. How the mighty have fallen. Rather disappointing, to be honest.
Who are you? Where are you?
Quite daft, aren't you? Within these walls, I am everywhere. And you've heard of me before.
What? I have no...
Heavens, you are slow. Is that pretty head of yours only for decoration?
What? But no, there's no one else.
You might be thicker than these walls, my dear. Although, I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. You never did believe anything Michel said about me. We have heard this track before, yeah. You thought he was going mad.
Oh, this is brilliant. No, there's no way. It can't be. The cursed witch, Morgana.
Oh, you even know my name, do you? It would appear my legend has survived longer than I expected. I suppose I should thank all the humans who passed it down for me.
You actually exist?
I most certainly do, my dear. As I recall, you don't believe in the supernatural, do you? But it's hard to deny when that very witch is talking to you right this moment. Michel was not even slightly mad, my dear. I told him he was better off without his sanity, but he refused to listen. He wasn't deranged. His surroundings were. His environment, the people around him, his whole world. Can you imagine how dreadful that must have been? To be the only sane resident in a world gone utterly mad. It's a miracle he managed to keep his head. Remember what you said just before he died, my dear. You said it was all in his head. You said he couldn't tell the difference between illusion and reality. You said he had long since gone insane. Shouted it at the top of your lungs.
No, that's not what I meant.
Oh, poor Michel. If only you had believed him about the witch. I feel bad for you too, though. You have my pity. What did you ever do to deserve this? Oh, and just to be perfectly clear, I played no part in either your or Michel's misfortune. The only force to blame for that is fate. You were a good, honest, joyful, lovable woman. And look at how the world treated you. May I ask you something? Was it you who sealed me in the tower? Yes, it was. That was what Michel wanted. Once, I told him I would grant his wish, so I did as he asked. Though it looks like that ended up causing you even more pain. How tragic. So, you're planning to die. Are you hoping to reunite with him in heaven? That plan's destined to fail from the outset, my dear. God teaches that suicide is a sin, and you'll go to hell for it. Then, I will not kill you.
Why not?
Because I swore to Michel that I would save your life. Poor Giselle.
If you have any other wish, I'll be happy to grant it. I can't bear to see you so miserable. A wish? You have but a single desire right now. To see him once more. Isn't that right, Giselle? Are you saying you can make that happen? You'll bring him back to life for me? The forces of life and death are outside of my realm. That is God's territory, or the angels. However, I can guarantee you this. His reincarnation, no, his reconstruction. His reconstruction. Yes, you can meet him again. Not in this life, but in some future life. Just imagine it. Finding your beloved again after overcoming so much tragedy. 10, 20, maybe 100 long years from now, you're finally reunited. Doesn't that sound marvelous? True, unparalleled love in its purest form. What do you think? Just because you can bring his soul back doesn't make it Michel. I want to be with him. That brusque, impenetrable, slightly immature, but gentle as a butterfly man. The man who sincerely, deeply loved me. If it's the same soul in a different body, can you still call him my Michel? Ah, my apologies. You beat me to the punchline, and you did it with such ardor you threw me off balance. You did so with such ardor, you threw me off balance. You're exactly right. The idea, if your love is strong enough, you can both be reborn and have exactly the same relationship, is utter fairy tale nonsense. You must be the same people to have the same love, which is why I am not promising his rebirth or reincarnation, but his reconstruction. Your wish can become reality, Giselle. As long as you wish for it with all your heart, it can become true. I'll wish for his reconstruction as well.
Wait.
Okay. You have a witch asking to make this happen, my dear, so you can be confident that it will bear fruit. And you wish for him to remain as himself. If he truly loves you, and he too wishes to reunite with you, your wish shall be granted. Will you really wish for me? I most certainly will, my poor, pitiful, dear Giselle. I shall offer up my most heartfelt prayers for you. I'll wish for it. Until the moment of my death, I'll keep wishing for us to be reunited as the same people. I can't guarantee your reconstruction, though. What? I only said I guaranteed his. Michelle's is the only reconstruction I will wish for. I will not ask for yours. Why not? You're not looking at a benevolent, wish-granting goddess or an angel with a magic bow and arrow. You're looking at a cursed witch. Then how am I to be with him again? I can offer you but one option that will allow you to reunite with your reconstructed Michel. Tell me, what do I have to do? You must live here with me. Live with you? What do you mean? It was Michel who resurrected me, and he could not serve as my guide. I have work to do, but I cannot do it alone. I need a guide to assist me, because as you can see, I have no body. If this house did not exist in this world, then perhaps I might be able to give myself form, my soul's form. I don't understand anything you're saying. You don't need to understand. All I need from you is for you to show your utmost hospitality to the people I'm expecting to show up at this mansion someday. Entertain your guests? That's right, my dear. Michelle isn't the only one whose reconstruction I'm wishing for. There are others. Several heinous sinners. So I want you to serve as a maid and watch over them when they arrive. And until then, keep the house in good condition. What? What are you scheming? Is that something you truly need to know, my dear? All you need to do is wish. Pray for the day your beloved appears before you again. For the day he wraps his arms around you once more. One word, Giselle. That's all I require. Do you want to see him again? Do you want to hear his voice again? I can promise you you'll have your happiness back. What reason is there to hesitate? There isn't one. Or are you simply going to give up? I wonder what would happen if you said no. If you disappeared from this world. How will Michel react when he comes back? Will he be sad, angry, or will he forget about you and fall into the arms of another woman? No, he can't. Oops. Then make up your mind. Will you come with me, or will you throw it all away? If I had given it a little thought, I would have realized she was manipulating me, that she was just telling me what I wanted to hear. But I believed her. I accepted her proposition. As unbelievable as it sounded, my desire for it to be real overpowered everything. It was impossible not to grasp at the straws she was dangling in front of me. That was all I could do at the time. The witch's voice also had an inexplicable power to it. It made me believe, as outrageous as it was, that she really could bring you back, reconstruct you. Maybe because I had seen her turn a door into an immovable wall, or maybe because I had heard her disembodied voice. But I don't think those are enough to explain it. My guess is, she had me under her spell. That was the moment I became the maid. But I assure you, I was, at that point, still the same Giselle you knew and loved. The sound of the rain never seems to stop. Am I hallucinating it, maybe? From the moment I lent my ear to the witch's sweet temptations, the mansion underwent an unimaginable transformation. No light shone through the windows, despite them still being unobstructed, not morning, day, or evening. In fact, the concepts of morning, day, and evening did not seem to exist. The darkness resembled that of when the windows had been sealed off, but there was something more fundamentally unreal about it, like it was hovering over a vast, all-consuming abyss within a constant haze of malice. I felt like I had been cast into some unknown realm, and that was why there was nothing beyond the windows. And the house was not the only thing that underwent changes. I, too, was no exception. In the blink of an eye, all my basic human urges vanished. I stopped feeling hungry, and I no longer needed sleep. Naturally, I was bewildered by what was happening to me, what I was turning into. I think I'll take a look around. Maybe there have been other changes. So I meandered through the mansion's halls. My original intent was to explore the entire house, but I found myself drawn toward one room in particular. That's right. Your bedchamber. There was no light, not a trace of color remaining in your chambers. But the bed was the same shape, the walls the same texture, the curtains the same design as when you had been alive. Michelle, I'm praying. I'm always praying that someday we'll meet again. Oh, there's something hidden under the bed. What could it be? It's that painting. I never did get to ask why he got so angry about me seeing this. I'm sure it's something he didn't want to be reminded of. Perhaps having to do with his family. I was right not pressing him about it.
Oh.
What? Huh?
I forgot about that.
What the? Did the painting just smirk at me? Oh God! Ah! Oh jeez, Giselle. What are you doing tripping over yourself? It's just that accursed witch messing with your head. You need to get spooked over a tasteless prank. When I stumbled, I guess I knocked a drawer open. There's something inside. Letters, it looks like. I shouldn't touch these. They're not mine. But I want something of Michelle's to have. I want something of Michelle's to have. Something to remember him by. His letters would be in his handwriting. They would contain his words. Oh, please forgive me, Michelle. I don't mean you any ill will, but I'm going to take these. I must say there are an impressive number of... What on earth? It's like someone dumped an inkwell on every page, but why?
I thought it was blood.
Was this the witch's doing too? Yeah, it has to be. It must have been her. It definitely wasn't you, Michelle. Was it?
It could be blood, I suppose.
The front door. I wonder what it's like outside. I can't get it open. What's going on? The bar isn't set, but it won't budge an inch.
There's no room for a bar to be on that door.
It's just like up in the tower. I know, the windows.
Boom, boom.
They should open, then I can... What's going on here? What the heck is going on? It's like there's an invisible wall in front of the window. My hand won't go any further. Oh, this is rich. Shit! Hit the microphone. What else can I do but laugh? What in the world? This is madness. Hurry up, Michelle. Return to me. And get me out of here. Please. Get me out of here. I had no idea how to explain anything that had happened to the mansion. But it was clear enough that I was imprisoned within its walls. I was all alone in a nebulous sphere of bleak darkness, and beyond its walls lay void. The layout of the house remained unchanged,
but I felt as though I had wandered into a twisting labyrinth. I would cry, but there would be no one there to soothe me. All it did was provoke her disembodied cackling, which she followed with, "You chose this, my dear, so you need to hold yourself together and keep wishing." My only real pastime was cleaning. I dusted the same corners again and again, swept the same floors, polished the same dishes. One day, I decided I would read the books left in the library. Despite there being more than 100 volumes, I finished every one of them in what felt like no time at all. My life was a never-ending cycle. Day in and day out. Day in and day out. The house had no visitors. No one. Rather, nothing at all set foot upon the property. There were no signs of other life whatsoever there. No birds singing in the morning, no cats sunbathing in the garden, no mice scurrying about the kitchen, no creepy crawly insects. There was nothing. Nothing at all. The only thing that broke the long stretches of silence was her voice. Tell me, was she kind to you? Was she friendly and courteous? Because she was quite harsh when she spoke to me. These were the kinds of things she was always saying to me. "Oh, he didn't show up today, did he, my dear? Are you still praying, my dear? Do you think he'll actually come, my dear? I'm still wishing, just like I promised, my dear. You know why he hasn't come for you, my dear? Because perhaps he doesn't actually love you as much as you thought. My dear, my dear, my dear. Have you lost your mind yet?"
Shut up! I've had enough! I'm done with you! Enough! Please, enough already! Oh, what's got you so worked up? You love to talk, don't you? So why not have a nice little chat with me? This is not a chat! Maybe not in your mind, my dear. You seem to think that chatting only constitutes conversations you enjoy. But I don't think the world's usage needs to be so restricted, But I don't think the word's usage needs to be so restricted, personally. You're just getting off on watching me squirm. Oh, not at all. You'll have all my best wishes if he ever does show up for you. Ooh, so scary. If you're making that face when he shows up, he might not even recognize you. You haven't looked in a mirror recently, have you? Go on then, my dear. See just how frightful you've become. No. The witch was right. I looked nightmarish. My face was pale and lifeless, my eyes hollow, my cheeks sunken, heavy bags beneath my eyes. My hair had lost its sheen and grew wildly. I was quickly losing everything that made me recognizable as me, and the thought sent a shiver down my spine. No, this isn't me. This is some kind of trick. You're trying to deceive me. Baseless accusations. You really must stop blaming people every time something doesn't turn out the way you want, my dear. But, my face was more what? More expressive, more cheerful, brighter, rosier. You're right. You were never this gloomy, were you? Right. I wasn't. I was always more cheerful than this. Naive girl. Could you be any more narcissistic? Huh? What you're looking at is undeniably exactly what you look like now.
Time did not do that to you, nor did I. The negative energy oozing from within you is what's causing you to take on this form. Did you think you didn't have any dark, ugly emotions inside you? Did you believe you would always be able to smile no matter what? Did you assume you were pure and beautiful? No one like that exists, my dear. What you see in the mirror is the true you. Your hideous, twisted heart. If you weren't always being so nasty, this would have never happened. Anyone's heart would be twisted listening to you for long enough. Oh, so you're saying Michelle's heart was twisted too? I spoke to him for years. No! I'm just teasing. I suppose I may have crossed the line there. I mean you no ill will, Giselle, honest. Allow me to give you one word of advice, though. Look at yourself in the mirror often. If you continue deteriorating at the rate if you continue deteriorating at this rate and end up looking like a corpse, when Michel comes and sees you, he won't jump for joy, but run away, screaming in terror. Stop talking. Please just stop. You know, Giselle, this is only the very beginning. He might not show up for hundreds of years. I can't live that long. Absolutely brilliant. You still think you're alive? What? The moment you agreed to come with me, you ceased to be of this world. So don't worry about time, my dear. You can wait as long as it takes. As long as it takes for him to arrive. As the witch had suggested, I started checking my appearance in the mirror every day. You know, I wonder if this game, I forget if I sussed this out on my initial first playthrough, but I wonder if this game passes the Bechdel test. I think the closest we had so far was the maid and the white-haired girl's first ever conversation, but they talked about her dad in that. Yeah, I wonder. I don't think it's happened yet. Huh. I wanted to ensure I didn't turn into some horrifying creature. My hair grew, so time seemed to be passing, but I didn't appear to age at all. The flow of time had become perplexingly vague and uncertain. Was it stopped, or was it moving? I couldn't tell. On occasion, I would practice smiling in front of the mirror. My smile was, after all, my one really distinctive feature, and I was certain you had seen me smiling more than anything. Even if my appearance had changed drastically, I thought, you would still be able to recognize me by my smile. A woman standing in front of a mirror practicing how to smile. I'm sure that was quite the comical sight. Interesting that at this point in time, she had a reflection. And that was about how my days went for an incomprehensibly long time. Oh my God. It's not like Founder Emir levels of hell and purgatory, but I think because this time scale is slightly less incomprehensible, that it makes it feel all the more real and weighty, like you can imagine being trapped for this amount of time. For the first 100 years, I kept track of how much time had passed. An hour, a day, a month, a year, 10 years, 50. But once it had surpassed a person's average lifespan, the counting started driving me mad, and so I stopped. I don't know how you could possibly keep track of that with no day or night. My sense of time began to numb. I guess counting your sleeps makes sense. In place of sleep, I spent my days in a trance-like state. Doing so, I was less aware of the passage of time, which made it a little easier to bear. Did she say at the outset that she, in addition to not needing to eat, she didn't need to sleep? Because then, yeah, perhaps she's just imitating like a diurnal cycle. Is that the word? I don't know. Suspended in this bubble of time, my mind went out to you. God, this game is something else, man. The next thing I lost was a sense of myself. I lived as a human for 21 years. After spending nearly 10 times that trapped in the mansion, I began to feel like that was all I had ever been. That maybe my past was all a construction of my imagination. That as an otherworldly being I merely fantasized about being human. Had I actually had a family? Had there actually been other people in the world? Did cities and villages really exist? Was there ever really a time when light shone through the windows? When we were happy? But I knew if I started doubting everything, I wouldn't be able to maintain myself, so I settled on believing one thing. That you, Michelle, were real. That you had been with me. That I had loved you. And that it was you I was waiting for. I tried to always remember that one fact. Yeah. My characteristic energy and cheer were disappearing. By then, I hardly ever raised my voice anymore. And in response to that change, the witch seemed to treat me a little nicer. On occasion, I thought I could sense her presence nearby, like she might reveal her form to me beyond the darkness, instead of only speaking to me. I could feel her sitting beside me. Giselle, do you think you're still Giselle, even now? I suppose it doesn't matter either way. Sometimes I think love and Sometimes I think love and fanaticism are two sides of the same coin. What are you implying? Oh, nothing. I have an idea, though. Why don't we make you some new clothes, my dear? The loom should still work, thanks to your keeping everything in order. That outfit's an artifact of an age long past by now. You know how long it's been? Vaguely, but yes. As we speak, time still marches onward. Not too quickly, not too slowly, but at the same pace as your breathing. Now, on your feet, Giselle. We have plenty of time, so let's make you the perfect maid's outfit. And if we don't have enough materials, we can make more thread from the sheets or curtains. How exciting. Oh. It pains me, too, how Morgana's written, man, in retrospect. Following her instructions, I wove garments in the style that did not exist in my era. They were quite strange to behold. The old me might have been stricken with fascination by them, but at that point, I wasn't even sure how to rejoice.
how to be impressed or how to be moved anymore.
Relentless, man. I almost wish they would just show like all the numbers ticking forward, ticking down, up, whatever, as opposed to just skipping between the centuries. Just keep showing the relentless procession in all its excruciating detail. Well, in abstracted detail, because, 15 to 20 seconds isn't quite as bad as a century, but it makes it feel substantial to an audience.
It sounds like rain again. What year is it? It doesn't matter what year it is. It doesn't matter where it is. As long as you're there. It can be any time, anywhere. Where are you? Michelle? What are you doing? I'm still praying. I'm still wishing for you to appear before me. Forever and ever and ever. And ever and ever and ever. I've been praying for so long, I don't know how long it's been. Before you left, you said you were going to pray too. You said you hoped we could meet again in another life. I'm not misremembering, am I? Michelle, come back to me soon. I love you so much. But my memories of you are starting to fade. What did your voice sound like? What kinds of faces did you make? Where did you like to put your hands on me? I don't want to forget. I want to always remember. My memories of you are the only thing holding me together. But they're slipping away from me. How did you speak? What kinds of things did you talk about? I'm losing all these memories. Please, Michelle, come back to me before I forget everything. My beloved master. The thought crossed my mind that maybe Morgana's guarantee that you would be reconstructed was just a lie to trick me into staying here. But I quickly discarded it, because if she had been lying, it would strip all meaning from my very existence. It would take from me my purpose for being here, so I didn't want to accept that possibility. I had no choice but to persevere in my belief that you would return. I had always thought I would be all right, that my faith would never waver. I still believed in myself. But you can be the happiest, most optimistic, resolute person in the world, and you will still break eventually. And I was at the point where even the slightest tap would shatter me into fragments.
That said, these insta skips, if you will, are still quite effective, going hand in hand with her narration. Because my God, I was about to say this poor woman, but that does not do this justice. Jesus Christ.
Several hundred years after I was enslaved within the mansion, something changed for the very first time. Sunlight, which I had not seen in all that time, shone in from outside. At first I did not believe it was real. I thought it was a hallucination born of my inner desires. and I thought I must have completely lost it for my fantasies to have escaped my mind. But it didn't matter if it was all an illusion. The gentle breeze blowing in through the window felt wonderful. It's interesting that she says lost it instead of lost her mind, which is a more the maid-like thing to say. Maybe a sign that she's becoming more herself, using more sort of casual manner of speech. The smell of grass, the chirping of birds, the glistening blue sky. It was like 1,000 memories rushing back all at once, and it brought tears to my eyes. The time has come, Giselle. It's time for you to get to work. And as she always did, the witch's voice crushed my elation, dragging me back to reality. Reveling in the sight of the outside world was the last thing I should have been doing, for it was that moment that began my true decline. Work? What kind of work? Have you already forgotten? Oh, good heavens. Do you have your head on straight, my dear? As I said, I need you to watch over the house and show your utmost hospitality to those who show up. Is someone... This is merely an appetizer. It looks like someone's here. Hold on, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. Do the same thing you have been doing. Be a maid. Convince the house's guests that this is a wonderful place. Make them enjoy their stay. Now, go on. I'm quite looking forward to this. The bar has been removed from the door's very texture. I know it's not a texture, but will the door open? For so long, the door had refused to budge. For so long, light had forsaken these halls. For so long, there had been no trace of life. And now, all of that had been turned on its head. I felt like I had stepped into heaven on earth. I know it sounds melodramatic, so please don't laugh. It was almost certainly a perfectly ordinary slice of nature. Leaves and grass rustled in the wind. Flowers specked the earth, and in the distance was a city I didn't recognize. I wondered where I was, of course, but I neither shouted nor jumped in surprise. Instead, I found myself accepting of my circumstances as unnatural as they might have been. As I was standing there idly before the entrance, a carriage rolled up.
Egad! Could this road be any bloody worse? It's in dire need of paving on top of everything else. Who might you be, young lady? That outfit?
He's speaking a different language. The middle-aged man approached me. From his attire and the way he held himself, he appeared to be upper class. However, the words coming out of his mouth were not in the language I had grown up speaking. Could the mansion have moved somewhere far, far away? Naturally, I had no idea how such a thing was possible. And the longer I stood there, staring at him absent-mindedly, the more incredulous he became. He became, not me. Me too, though, I suppose. My immediate mission was to overcome the language barrier. Fortunately, I suppose, I was able to understand bits and pieces of what he had said. As merchants in the capital, my family did business with people from other countries, and as a result, I had learned a handful of words. The problem was, It had been so long ago I had no confidence whatsoever in my ability to hold a conversation. Also, the English language would have progressed quite a bit by this point from the time when I was alive. I am a servant.
Servant? Can't say I remember asking for a lady servant, but I suppose these things do happen. Doesn't much matter who they sent.
Who are you?
You aren't informed. Bloody hell, off to a great start, I see. Well, what can you do, I guess? Name's Hayden Rhodes. Just a retired old man. Just a retired old man.
As I am sure you have already guessed, this man was the Rhodes siblings' grandfather. He was also the first sibling I served under as the maid.